What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back. Just doing some quick technicals, housekeeping before we get started. Oh man, feels like it's been forever since I've been on here. Not sure why. Doing some quick little check-offs. Missed you guys though. Good to see you guys. I know some of you guys have been really good in the Patreon and asking questions somewhat. Sorry if I don't sound very good. I got Friday. I got a little cold, I think. Saturday was tough, but it's just like just drowsy and just not, you know, you guys know when you're sick, especially if you don't get sick a lot. So it's just like just sucks. Alrighty, guys. I think the technicals are all good. We'll get started here just like 2 minutes early. Not that big a deal. Alrighty, guys. Welcome back. Alrighty. Alrighty, all my returning patrons, of course, welcome back, guys. Really glad to have you guys here once again. All my new patrons and new viewers, welcome. Really glad you guys are here. Blessed to have you guys here, and taking your time out of your precious day to come and receive this information. So first off, I'm your guys' host, Trent Manager. I host the show Tuesday and Thursday live streams, and also on our Patreon, our paid section. I do more intensive posts over there, starting just as low as $3 a month. You can get pretty much pennies of the day. You get news articles from me, readings, anything useful that I think is going to elevate your education. So, alrighty, guys. So, going over some housekeeping, some agenda today. We've got some pretty good stuff to go over. Nothing, nothing too bad. I know it's been, price action has been quite a bit volatile, and stuff has been very, very crazy in terms of the news, readings, talk between governors, governments, countries. It's really just been all over the place. If we were to hop into our quick agenda, this is kind of just what we're going to go over quickly today. We're going to talk about miners going even greener. Read a nice article about how I think they're in the UK. They're using cow manure to power more renewable energy for BTC mining and overall proof of work mining, which is super awesome. Since that narrative is now came back up, as you guys may know. We also got some talks about blockchain, widely used for banking. What is security risk for higher up centralized banks, for them getting into this, as they are going to have to make the switch here. Inevitably, we've known this is coming. We're also going to be going over to Tanzania's president's government is calling for central banks to work towards crypto acceptance. We've got some pretty ethos clips today, some really nice emotional and some really great clips today from Tudor Jones and the president, not the president of Tanzania, but overall kind of just why this is a great thing for people outside of first world countries and really getting them in the financial world. We're also going to go over Tudor Jones' 5% allocation, to cryptocurrency, which is huge. We got another big billionaire. For those who don't know who Tudor Jones is, I believe he is the brother of hedge fund manager Big Tudor Jones. We will get to him just in a second. Also going to go over MicroStrategy. They spent another $500 million on BTC. I don't know where they're getting this money. I know they're like liquidating stocks now, but like, my gosh, dude, Michael Saylor he's crazy. He's freaking crazy, but I like him. He's a smart guy. I enjoy him. So, alright, guys, that's pretty much our agenda, real quick. And let's look at what. Here, let me just look at real quick. I just gotta make sure. I gotta see like what he does. Okay. American Billion. Okay, hedge fund manager. That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. Okay, I just had to like double verify that. So, okay, alrighty, guys. Awesome. So, hopping into our first article, we're going to go over MicroStrategy gets USD 500 million to spend on BTC. Goldman Sachs ETH plan plus more news. So, first off, MicroStrategy is getting another 500 million to move into Bitcoin. So, where they're getting this money is I know they're liquidating stocks. They're offering up bonds for their investors in their company to buy even more Bitcoin. We already knew that Goldman Sachs has plans to make the offer, for Ethereum for months now, getting that to their clients as well, since that has been in such high demand for quite a while now. We speak about often that if your cryptocurrency can utilize and execute real world problems and, really make things easier and apparent for not only just big guys, but little guys, we've known that Bitcoin isn't, the most amazing technology, but it is just ultrasound. So, one Bitcoin, no matter the price, always equals one Bitcoin versus the inflation that we've talked about quite recently, that your dollar does not buy you as much with $1 what it's worth. So your $5 of course isn't going to buy you as much as it did last year or 2 years ago. So it's going to be more and more. We saw Chipotle raise their prices. We're starting to see things play out, and I'm pretty sure you guys have too, if you've been grocery shopping or going to the mall or just overall gas. I know I got a couple homeboys in California who are just don't know how they're paying for $6 a gallon of gas. Like it's absolutely absurd. But really going into deeper into this article, things are ramping up. I mean, it may not seem like it just from the price action, and we're going to go into that in just a second. Before we move forward, I did skip over some beginning articles, some housekeeping that we'll go over. But truly, guys, we know what's kind of in the works here. I don't know if you guys pay attention too much to the stock market. I highly recommend being diversified. I had a couple questions on Patreon yesterday just for and overall, I don't know why I didn't do this beforehand, but I have a quick allocation chart for at least my portfolio. It's not showing you any numbers, anything. I'm not going to come out here and just release my whole portfolio, just yet. But it's something that I think should definitely give some really good guidance and give some clear-headed to see where my mind is at, even though I'm pretty transparent with you guys 100%. But continuing with mining news, we've seen the Bitcoin Mining Council come out saying that they're using 85% renewable energy. That's actually another video I need to get on here. There's been so much, guys, like seriously, I'm not kidding. Like you take 1 day off with this or 2 days off, like you miss, like it feels like you miss like a whole year of news worth. Like you guys see all these stuff I have up here, like I just pull all this up here because I know we don't always go over every single bit of it, but just to the whole thing is just to open up doors and critical thinking. Pretty sure you guys know that we've got a lot of influx of new people coming in and out, so sorry if I sound like a broken record to some of you returning guys, but thank you guys for always sticking with me. But realistically, MicroStrategy and Goldman Sachs and Voyager #1 are really pushing to continue innovation. Behind the scenes, MicroStrategy another 5. Like that's just crazy. Like that's actually ridiculous. And we've known that Goldman Sachs has been doing this for quite a bit now, and that they've got more edges to cut off than we do, and just because they got so much more paperwork and clients and overall security breaches that they need to cover and get in order before they move forward with this on a heavy scale. So, and also before here, let's get some housekeeping out of the way real quick. Those looking for a cryptocurrency job list or anyone who wants to be working in that field, I've had a couple people come to me and say, hey, I really liked the teachings, or I really liked the information. I'd like to take that next step into going and working in this field. How can I get that started? Crypto job list is really, really good. They're phenomenal. There's, as you can see, 2,000 plus jobs, 3,000, and this increases every day. Like I come here pretty often. I don't write articles for these guys, but I have in the past, edited some scripts and, not just particularly for this, but have frequently, been in this space, trying to find, people, good fits for them. They got everything from DeFi to NFT, interns, community traders. It's really awesome. So give it a look, guys, if that's something you guys want to do, which I highly recommend. This is actually where I first started when I was looking for some of my first jobs. So, all right, guys, I'm going to close that out just for a second. Also, we're going to hop over to our next article, why Tudor Jones can invest 5% of his portfolio in Bitcoin. He didn't come out in this video. We have a video to watch. He didn't come out and say that he did this, but, very well, we've known that a lot of these big companies, a lot of these big guys have been accumulating, in the background and just have not come out and said anything just yet. We know that companies privately do not have to come out and tell you, hey, we're buying this, because they're on they're private equity, so they don't have to tell you anything. So we knew that MicroStrategy, Tesla had been buying way before they came out their announcement. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tudor Jones already has a good size allocation and is kind of just waiting to drop that bombshell on us to let us know, hey, this is what I'm doing. And we did have quite a nice rally push the other day and the day before that, and we're going to cover over the price action, kind of just see where we're at, and I'm going to give my personal feelings about where I think we are sitting right now. And it's not too bad at all. I'd like to see us above $42,000, but 40K is a big resistance level for us that used to be support, but over the past coming weeks and months, we broke through those support lines pretty heavy, and it is all very common for a market cycle to backspring previous resistance and support bands and tests. That's 100% normal. So we're going to scroll down here and let's take a look at what Mr. Tudor Jones has to say to us.
You made the argument, though, that it's math, and that not that it's risk-free, but in terms of the risks, we haven't talked about two risks, which are
quality is so bad.
Long on the just capital list, things around the environment, for example, geopolitical risks, whether the Chinese government or other governments decide to even allow it, whether the Fed at some point says we're not doing this. Right. How do you peg those risks?
So again, it costs more to mine gold energy-wise than it does Bitcoin. Clearly, I'm concerned about the environmental impacts that Bitcoin have. If I was king of the world, I'd ban Bitcoin mining.
You would?
Just because of the environmental impacts. and then make the ecosystem figure out a way to do it without expanding the supply anymore at all.
Right.
That's what I would do. But can I just say, I do think that we are in extraordinary times. I hope that we'll mean revert back to economic orthodoxy. I really do. I get nervous from a financial instability standpoint when the stock market's 220% of GDP. I get nervous when I know that number was 45% higher than the 2000 bubble, and I know it's 90% higher than the 2007 top. So if you just look at the amount of quantitative easing that we have planned just between now and December, and you think about the 60% correlation between the NASDAQ and the reserves that the Fed holds, you could argue the NASDAQ is going to go up 20% if we stay on this pace of $120 billion of Treasury purchases per month. You could argue that's where we're going to be at year end. And so I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. I don't know if continuing to increase valuations through monetization is the right and most prudent course right now.
Awesome. So you noticed at the beginning how he said he would ban, Bitcoin mining. So that just shows, number one, that we still got some work to do for getting these guys educated in terms of how Bitcoin mining is used in renewable energy and such. It drives me crazy. I just cannot believe this narrative is still on the table. It's like saying the sky's blue. We've proven this so many times to the point to where it just gets crazy. I've had to really just woo-saw myself a lot of the time when it comes to people pulling the energy card. It drives me absolutely freaking crazy. But also, leading into our next article, that's exactly what it's going to do. UK farmers are using cow dung to power Ethereum mining and boosting revenue. So, we've talked about dirty mining. We talked about how mining is, power. Dirty power is a miner's worst enemy. People, especially if you're in the mining community, you understand that you're seeking the cheapest power to boost your revenue. So if you are using renewable energy, whether that be 70%, 80%, 90%, 95%, it doesn't matter. You are saving your mining cost by using more renewable energy, therefore lowering your kilowatt output, and therefore keeping more of your profits, whether you're mining Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin, it doesn't matter. So I'm just not sure how these guys are not picking up on that or understanding that. We've known that every day everyone's lights in the U.S., whether they be on or off, with all the people we have here, is double, if not triple, the amount from Bitcoin mining output. It's crazy. So I'm not going to get into that too much harder. But this is really good to see from a mining perspective that we know that these guys are working really, really hard, and we know that these 75%, 80% farms are active. And maybe it's just, I know the Bitcoin Mining Council hasn't been too transparent about how their sources, they haven't come out with documents just yet about how they're using their power, at least in the Bitcoin Mining Council, but we have other ways of proving that. And I think that the Bitcoin Mining Council should be a little bit more appealing to those who are trying to, number one, understand how it's utilized, and number two, the transparency between them, which is something that I know they will do, but there are other sources out there to prove that energy is being used renewably, and it doesn't need to just rely on the Bitcoin Council at all. So also, guys, hop over to our next. Actually, let's save that for. Let me save that for last. I don't know if this is too important. So this just goes over the use of banking and how those security risks are going to be work for a blockchain. Blockchain is great. It's phenomenal. I think it's amazing technology. It's why I switched my career and do all this stuff. But there are some cons. There are. It's not all perfect. With the immutability. The unforgiving use of recalls and. You really got to be on your stuff when using blockchain technology. There isn't a lot of room for error, especially when it comes to execution, especially for information, sensitive data, locking and unlocking smart contracts, updates, ZK rollups, protocol updates. There's a lot, in terms of understanding and education, for sure. But definitely when it comes to a basic standpoint, from not being a developer, understanding technology in and out, it can become a very big barrier to entry. So like I've said plenty of times, our education to this technology and our education overall space is that's our biggest barrier to entry. I don't even think it's not money, it's not people. We have all those. It's just a matter of fact of having people understand this technology and really understanding it and how they're going to utilize this. And that's where people like me come in. But of course not everyone's gonna want to understand this, number one, or care to understand this, number two, and there will always be a select few of individuals who will go above and beyond to secure information and project that forward. So just kind of had to lay that on the table. As much as I wish everyone would understand it and take classes on it, I know it's not realistic. So I often catch myself really putting myself back in real life for a second. But also, guys, we're going to go over why the Tanzanian government should work towards, they are working towards crypto adoption. We've known, we talked about this 2 days ago, we talked about this for quite a while from the upcoming weeks from last month and also including this month, that, we've known living outside the U.S., Europe, anywhere that's not a first world country where you got bank accounts, running water, electricity, and so on. Realistically, this is still a issue for a ton, millions and millions and millions of people. I know in Tanzania and Africa, I know half of those people, about 70% of those people don't have bank accounts. I got a pretty good clip from Bitcoin Miami, which is super good. It goes over, I think his name is John. I'll have to go back and look at his full name, but he went down in Africa and was doing a lot of work, service down there, getting them, up to speed with technology and education and so on. It truly blows my mind too that there are smarter people than I. Of course, I know that, but there are people that are 3 times smarter than I, have the exact same capabilities as me, if not double, and would outsweep me in a minute in terms of technical test and overall application appliance, but they just can't because they do not have the basic necessities to do so. So, such as people in Africa, individuals, people in South America, those individuals just do not have the basic borderline access to even come and compete against individuals like you and I, because they don't have a bank account set up, they either don't have running water. There are key components in your life that, number one, I also do take for granted as well, but people maybe do not understand to full extent. Like having to walk to a water well 3 miles away to get clean, to get water that's not even clean, or utilize a currency that your government has said so to you, and you have no if, say, or but about it at all. Even if you wanted to change it, you can't. And on top of that, you can't even leave the country or village you're in because you don't have even close to the resources to make that possible. Whether that be shoes on your feet, clothes on your back, and so on. So this next video, it hit me pretty hard because it's I've always been grateful for the way I grew up and the way I was structured and the opportunities that we have. But just to kind of throw that even more on the table, I think this is I thought this was a great. I retweeted and I did as much as I could with this.
There's
I thought this was awesome.
Roads. And it was sad. It just wasn't a lot of hope. I gave talks. I talked to the kids. I told them, man, we got this. Bitcoin's here. We got this. And I'll tell one story. There's a guy, his name's Chimbera. And I spent a few days with them. It was my first week there. And he sat me down. And he said, my grandfather was a fisherman. And my dad was a fisherman. And I thought I was going to be a fisherman. I'm not like you. You got a Chase bank account. You get a debit card. I fish. Nothing more, nothing less. Until Bitcoin, man. I got hope. I scan the same QR codes you do. When Bitcoin goes up 10%, Michael Saylor makes a lot of money. So do I. So do I. Chimbear's never had a bank account. But he's got a Bitcoin wallet. Chimbear's never had a savings account. But he's got a hardware wallet. Chimbera saw that this is financial inclusion, that this is a network and a monetary system that doesn't hold any bias, and there's no intermediary that could tell him that he's not allowed.
Yeah. Just simple as that right there. It's bigger than making tons of money. And it's great, the money that comes with this. But in terms of realism, what this does for everyone, as no matter what color, religion, gender you are, you truly have a 100% say so just from yourself and nobody else of what you can achieve financially. So that is that's where my view stands truly on this whole Bitcoin, blockchain, and so on. It's easy to get lost in the haze and see and lose track of really what this is about. But I really go back to that one point that this is for everybody to have a fair playing field, because I don't think, just me personally, I think everyone deserves a fair shot. You can mess up in your life and put yourself deeper, but starting off starting off negative 100 is just doesn't sit well with me. I know that's life, and I know that's not, and it's not fair. I know it's life, but it's not fair, and it's not fair either. Regardless, because it could have easily just been yourself. You could have easily been born in Africa. You could have easily been born elsewhere. elsewhere, but you were just blessed enough and lucky enough to be in the position you are right now. So me personally, I believe those who are privileged enough to have these these traits and these resources now can start providing those to other people as well, because I truly believe that's what those individuals would do for us if things were flipped. So just my 2 cents. That's just me on my end. So moving forward, guys, we're gonna go over our economic overview of El Salvador. I know that they gave their thumbs up to their legal tender. We talked about this also. We covered this in depth for about a day or two, but I know there's still a lot of work to be done in terms of continuing things to go out, things to move forward. I know the IMF stepped in with El Salvador. The IMF is the International Monetary Fund. They fund a lot of these countries throughout the world who are smaller and may not have all the resources. The IMF, I've been very persistent on El Salvador, saying, hey, no, not a good idea. We don't think this is good. We really recommend that you guys repel this and go back to our dollar. We'll figure it out later. El Salvador is not budging. The consequences that could have from this could be minor to severe. Could definitely be not so well moving forward, because the IMF does fund a ton in terms of government roads and economic buildings, and a lot of the things that we don't really think about too much in our country that that need to be funded are funded by the IMF. And where I think this is moving forward from this, I just truly think that these guys are just going to have to adjust. I think this technology is starting to drill, especially in higher economic and political people's views, especially those who don't live in first world. We don't understand truly how hard this affects individuals and how much opportunity this gives people. And of course, you coming from higher network class and things you don't have to worry about, and now coming down to these people's level and seeing the basic interaction and the basic overview of how this changes their lives, it's crazy. It really is. It's eye-opening. So I truly believe the IMF is just going to have to deal with this. I think they're going to do everything they can to make El Salvador's mind flip the other direction, but I don't think it's going to be enough, as these people have now seen what true ultrasound money is, and now they can really accomplish things that they couldn't before with no restrictions. So, and I know we had a lot of people asking about the criminal activity and such, and just like, oh, Bitcoin's to be used for criminal activity and all this. I mean, I hope you guys know too also, people who prove the criminal card that the US dollar has been the preferred use of criminal activity for, my God, too long now. Cash is just as easy. I think cash is just on the same level of of being anonymous as Bitcoin is. You don't know where that dollar was or where that $100 was. You can't really track cash at all. I've heard you can. I've heard of the QR codes and such that they have invisible on those dollars, but in terms of really getting to the root of cause, no, it's not really happening at all. That's just not, that is for sure not happening. All right, guys, just doing a quick little housekeeping run to make sure we got our articles covered and seeing what we missed out on. I know I had the China FUD in our PNG in our thumbnail. I'm gonna do a quick. I know China did officially give their approval for Bitcoin mining being not cut, but I know they are working towards getting Bitcoin mining out of China. And I'm going to explain actually why that's a good thing. I don't even need the article because I did a pretty good research on it the other day. So, that we knew that the hash rate in China was about 60 to 80% of the hash rate was done in China. So hash rate, all that is just the overall mining confirmations, for mining rigs that are done, mining Bitcoin, mining Ethereum, and so on. So China did control majority of the hash rate. So when China, and it's not the people of China that are doing this, it's the government of China. So the China government said, hey, we're not doing this anymore. We're actually serious, as serious as they want to be. We will see how this falls out. We have at least a couple times a year that they come out and say this. So that is now going to spread out the hash rate. So we did see a lot of Chinese miners and a lot of people around, a lot of the Chinese individuals and miners are now moving out of China, outsourcing to, number one, cleaner power, more sustainable places around the world, such as the U.S., South America, anywhere besides China, where they're not going to have these strict regulations. And now that's going to spread out the hash rate, making it so, per se, that one country is not controlling majority of the hash rate and the majority of the mining. So it's going to be spread out quite a bit. And I mean, that's great to see. Regardless, it didn't really have a huge issue on us before, given, I'm not huge in the mining community. I don't know a super ton. I got a couple boys who are really, really good at that. I keep telling them to make YouTube channels so they can because we need more mining YouTube channels, more explanation, because, I'm no guru. I'm just straight up and saying that, I don't know everything, but I do know a good amount. But the way that's pushing us, it is a good thing. It's just like, it's more diversification, and it gives people more trust, and more ease at knowing that, China doesn't have everything, as great as they are at their technical side, and, how they govern things. It's just, you just got to give props where it's due. Those guys are technically inclined and beyond ahead of us in majority of the world. They body everybody in terms of that technological appeal. Yeah, that's really all I really had for that section of mining. It's not the worst thing in the world. We've seen this time and time again, and moving forward, we know that things are gonna be just fine. The longevity standpoint, we're here for longevity. We're not here for short term. Also, guys, for those who just didn't get updated in the Patreon, we got a small new. I don't think we have any new posts, but I don't know if you guys saw my post from yesterday. We saw that Cuba was no longer accepting our U.S. dollar. They said, "Hey, leave that at home." This was a big one for me. I thought this was actually pretty crazy. That they were doing this. The Republic of Cuba is suspending the U.S. dollar case for the U.S. and foreign banks. The Central Bank of Cuba has restrictions from obstacles on the U.S. embargo creates a national banking system. They do not want our dollar. We know the issues that we've had with our printing habits and the way we have been governing our money. And people are starting to see that. I know you guys saw this yesterday. For those who don't follow me on Instagram or anything like that, I try to post a good amount on Instagram, my story, breaking news, not even breaking news, like newsline titles, and even on Twitter, I'm big on retweeting and replying to developers and so on. So for those who want to follow me on there, I'm a little bit more active on there just because it's a lot easier to do that instead of, hopping on Patreon and, doing live streams, when things are, up in air. That's definitely a good way to keep up with, what I'm thinking and doing. But we also know Russia cut $119 billion out of their wealth fund from the U.S. USD Treasury, so that includes USD-backed bonds, USD cash, anything that requires our US dollar. I know they cut pretty much almost entirely, or a majority of the amount. And quickly, we're gonna hop over to CoinGecko and just kind of look at the price action and see how we're sitting. We've had quite a move yesterday and the day before. Like I said, guys, at the beginning, I'd like to see us above 42. I know 40 is a big resistance level for us now. It was one support, but I believe once we flip that support and we're above 42, that's where I'll start getting a little bit more optimistic, I'd say. We didn't talk about the Wyckoff distribution too much on this channel, but we're in a specific phase to where this could either be another short breakdown, another bull trap shakeout, which is just getting people hopes up, getting them all in and then dump, getting that price action to fall back again, and that would be the ultimate, psychology trick. It gets people to walk on eggshells and not really, trust, what is going to happen, moving forward. And there's nothing more hurtful than buying the dip like we just did for weeks and weeks and weeks to having this rally and then have another disappointing dip to the downside. That would really be a final shakeout for a lot of people, especially those who are higher in their average cost and so on. That would really be a heartbreak for a lot of people, and that's not even a bad thing. This is part of the market cycle. We know the volatility, we know how it is short term, and we know how the news and FUD can affect a lot of this price action. But realistically, I'm not stressing at all. You guys know I don't come on here and throw arms in the air and all that stuff. We're here for the long term, and we trust this technology and this process to continue to move forward. Absolutely. And definitely before we log off here, just wanted to pull up a quick notepad. I did a quick little breakdown of my portfolio. I know some people were asking. I know I'm not giving you guys out specific numbers or anything like that, but just this is approximate allocation for what I have. Got about 40% Ethereum, 20% BTC. I keep 15% in USDC. I try to keep 50. Sometimes it's less, just for spending power, because you need chips on the side, to buy these dips or be able to participate in these more downward cycles. But also we talked about, guys, about how you can my passive income video that we did on DeFi. We know that USDC brings in some very great passive income. I know BlockFi does about 8.6% APY. Voyager is 9%. BlockFi also holds Bitcoin, Ethereum. You can earn a great amount of passive income just from holding your cryptocurrencies in BlockFi's. It's a savings account, but it's a high yield savings account, which is awesome. I'll think about that. I think I might do an in-depth video on BlockFi. I know that I think we covered it in the DeFi tutorial. That was like 45 minutes, but we didn't really cover it too hard as to how to set it up and so on. So that probably will be a good video idea, I think, moving forward. So, alrighty, guys. And also moving forward, I got some altcoins, Chainlink, DOT, ADA, Wi-Fi, Uni. This is not financial advice. This is just what I'm doing. I just wanted to throw this out here for you guys because I did get some questions about it. And I do 5% in precious metals, gold, silver, and bonds. Realistically, I think I did a calculation the other day. It's about, if we were to not break it down like per, cryptocurrency, like per unit, it would be versus my stocks and my BTC. I stay about pretty even. You know, I'm a little bit more leveraged now in crypto, so I'd say it's about 55% crypto, and the rest is about stocks. And just if you were looking at like a pie chart, of course, it'd be like really small slivers of like precious metals and altcoins, because that's only 10%. But just definitely wanted to throw that out there because I know some people were asking, just to give you the rough overview. This is the approximate, how I structure my stuff. Of course, like I said, not financial advice. This is what I'm doing and how I've been doing it for quite a while, and it's been working just fine. Keeps a lot of stress off the table. Cannot tell you like how less stressed I am, just from being diversified and, first off, always understanding what you're investing in. That's the big one as well. And having ultrasound strong projects that you really believe in, because if you believe in the project and you really do know your research on it and you understand it, it becomes so much easier to just hold it. Like, it's so much easier to know, like, hey, I know this is solving real world problems and this is going to, either solve X, Y, or Z, in the future. And I truly believe that with this space, there's going to be tons of winners. There's not going to be one company or one project that does it all. That's just not how it works. We saw that with the internet bubble, grocery, retail, healthcare. It doesn't matter. Like, even basic stocks, like we see that all the time. One company does not do it all, despite Amazon. Okay, Amazon's not doing everything, but they are doing a lot, in terms of what they're doing. But just definitely wanted to cover that just quickly before we are done for the day. So, alrighty guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share this with friends or family, anyone who thinks they may need it. Patreon members, great to have you guys back again. All my new ones, considering the Patreon, would love to have you guys in there. It's like the lowest is $3. It's like pennies a day, which is pretty awesome, I think, for the information I give and everything I talk about. I think it's worth it. So, alrighty guys, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. You guys have a great week. I'll see you guys on Thursday, if not before. And stay active follow me on Twitter, Instagram, subscribe, just for staying up to date on when I'm retweeting, what I'm posting about. Thanks guys, I really appreciate it.